Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I thank God for my life today. My people, Buhari don't die. See life. See life. The Buhari criminal man that is sent DSS and military to come and kill me, maybe in the night, in July 1st, 2021. He died today. See life. My people, we're supposed to learn about this. That criminal man, Buhari, Muhammadu Buhari, he don't die. See, I'm alive today. I thank God. God, thank you for my life today. Criminal Fulani man that is with some Yoruba, with some stupid Yoruba people that gang off and come to my house, middle in the night. They try to take my life, but God said no. If God say yes, nobody can say no. God said no. See life. You don't die today. Thank God. God, I thank you.
Ìròyìn yàjó mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri orílẹ̀-èdè àgbáyé tí n bá kí wa pé congratulations wọ́n ní pé ṣé àfikún yọ̀ wọ́n ni a ò fikún yọ̀ wọ́n o ṣùgbọ́n tí ọ̀tá ẹni bá rí ilé ó yẹ ká sọ pé congratulations to ourselves ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ ṣáà ti gbọ́ former president of Nigeria Buhari, President General Muhammadu Buhari bàbá rẹ̀ lé o ilé ló lọ tààrà ilé ló lọ tààrà ilé ló lọ tààrà bàbá rẹ̀ lé o ilé ló lọ tààrà bàbá rẹ̀ lé o gidi ilé ló lọ tààrà ilé ló lọ tààrà ilé ló lọ Buhari lélẹ̀ o ilé ló lọ tààrà Buhari lélẹ̀ o ilé ló lọ tààrà Buhari lélẹ̀ o ilé ló lọ tààrà ilé ló lọ tààrà ilé ló lọ tààrà ilé ló lọ tààrà Buhari lélẹ̀ o ilé ló lọ tààrà. Ìjọ ló gbà ẹ̀yin ènìyàn mi President Muhammadu Buhari ló ti relé o nílùú London ní èní ọjọ́ ìsinmi. President Muhammadu Buhari ọ̀tá olóyè Sunday Igboho tó ní kí olóyè Sunday Igboho kó máa lọ sọ́hún déhùn alẹ́ ni tó bá ní ká máa lọ òun náà ni ó máa relédè wa. Congratulations to gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ̀yin ènìyàn wa ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ti gbọ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká tẹ̀ wá gbọ́ bí ìwé ìròyìn ṣe gbé àwọn TVC News television station tí president Tinubu tó jẹ́ pé òun lónìí àwọn náà ló gbé ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ síbẹ̀ ká lọ gbọ́ gbogbo bí wọ́n ṣe yànnàná ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni bó ṣe yànnàná ẹ̀ ìròyìn ayọ̀ ni àbí kí la ti sọ ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ.
And we're still breaking the story we brought to you earlier on that the former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, died earlier on today. And we also have a breaking news story that he died earlier on in a London clinic. And this report comes from the former spokesperson of the president, Garba Shehu, indicating that the former president died in a London clinic. And we have our correspondent Femi Akonde standing by to give us more on this heartbreaking story. Femi, we understand from what we've been getting earlier on from the former spokesman Garba Shehu that the president was recovering. What seems to have gone wrong? What do you know about this shocking news that has shattered many as we speak at the moment?
Hi, Esther. Well, indeed, it's really a heartbreaking news. Lots of us do not know what indeed the president has been passing through. You know, in most cases, issues of health are very personal and private. But you know that when President Muhammadu Buhari was president of Nigeria between 2015 to 2023. He also battled severe health issues. At that time, it was also not disclosed exactly what health condition he was dealing with. This kept him out of the country for a long time, and a lot of critics, piled pressure on him to resign. But he was able to wrap up his 2-year term as president and retired into a very quiet life. From Daura, he moved back to Kaduna State, and even when he fell sick again and was moved to London, where we later had that he was recuperating. A lot of people did not know because of the quiet life President Muhammadu Buhari chose after retirement, after leaving office as president. But when people started to hear and ask questions, Garba Shehu had to, his spokesman when he was president, had to then come out to say, indeed, President Muhammad Buhari is recuperating, and they asked for, a private time. Everyone should respect his privacy and allow him attend to his health issues. There are also reports in the media, even though that was not confirmed by the vice president spokesman, that President Bola Tinubu at some point at around 3rd of June deployed vice president, or 3rd of July, I should say, deployed Vice President Kashim Shettima to London to see President Muhammad Buhari and find out how he's doing, find out about his health. We also hear from that particular report we read on Sahara Reporters, though it cannot be independently verified, that President Bola Tinubu also spoke with President Muhammad Buhari on phone. But it also goes to show the relationship that exists between these two men. And President Bola Tinubu was always looking out for his predecessor in office because they have a long-standing relationship. We are yet to get an official response from President Bola Tinubu as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces reacting to President Muhammadu Buhari's death, because this news just became public at about 1 hour, less than 1 hour ago. But we know that President Bola Tinubu would have been briefed, would have received briefings, and would have also spoken to some close family members of President Muhammadu Buhari. So we hear he died in the London hospital. We do not have details now about plans for funeral, because as a Muslim, everyone is expecting that he will be buried according to Islamic rites, but there are no plans yet. We expect in the coming minutes and hours, a lot will begin to unfold, and a lot of more information will then be made public. Esther.
Yeah, indeed. While we wait for the rites of burial passing of the former president and the former leader, what are you hearing in terms of reactions? I can see a lot of reactions has been trailing the social media since the news broke about less than an hour ago. What have you been getting? Although you are yet to get news from the presidency, what can you tell us?
Well, a lot of people are already talking about it. Former President Muhammadu Buhari was born in 1947, December 17th, 1947. Died at the age of 82. He would have been 83 December this year. He died at the age of 82. He was first military president in between 1983 and 1985, before that administration or that military regime was ousted by President Ibrahim Babangida. But he also contested to become Nigeria's civilian president, democratically elected president, about 3 times before he eventually won at the polls in 2015, with the support of President Bola Tinubu, with that merger of the Action Congress of Nigeria and other opposition parties coalescing and forming the All Progressives Congress as we have it today. That was a very significant victory for President Muhammadu Buhari and the All Progressives Congress. And we already, of course, it's getting to election season. Politicking has started, and people were already talking about. A lot of people were even hoping to get President Muhammadu Buhari's support for their candidacy. So we're hearing reactions from them. Like, everyone is saying, well, indeed, the country has lost one very prominent citizen, but not at a time when everyone expected it. But well, it's death. No one is ever prepared for it. But well, these reactions will continue to come in, and not just within Nigeria. President Muhammad Buhari was also quite influential as the president and commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He met with President Joe Biden, with other leaders, at different occasions. and we expect to start getting reactions from these world leaders reacting to President Muhammad Buhari's death, commiserating with Nigeria on the death of the former president, immediate past president. Nigerians are also talking about it, talking about his life and times, his achievements, his legacies, and of course some of his missteps as president and commander in chief. Everyone is talking about it. It's a potpourri of opinions and views of President Muhammad Buhari's life and times. And don't forget, just about less than 2 weeks ago, Garba Shehu himself published a book, detailing some of the inner workings of the administration of President Muhammad Buhari while he was at the saddle as commander in chief of the armed forces. This also generated a lot of reaction among Nigerians. Well, people will still continue to talk. It's still going to get people talking, and we expect that a national mourning will also be announced for the country. We expect flags to fly at half mast. That will be declared most likely from tomorrow because he was a former president of Nigeria. It's going to be a national mourning period for Nigeria, but we don't know how many days of mourning will be declared by President Bola Tinubu.
Right, I'll still keep you onto this because it is really a shocking news, like you mentioned, and many of us are just wondering how this happened, although we get to get a word from the presidency or what could be the likely cause. But just a little bit of a memory of the former president. What can you tell us about his legacies? If at all, you can just walk us through a bit of it, although we know him to be a man who says he is for everybody and he's for nobody. What can you tell us about some of his legacies that we will be best remembered for before we move on to our next issue of focus regarding the former president?
Well, one thing that President Muhammad Buhari was well known for, was his integrity, and that was what they used to sell him as a candidate at that time in 2015, and that was also what won him the election because Nigerians were tired of the system of corruption, misadministration, and a whole lot of issues affecting governance in the country. President Muhammad Buhari came as that man who will effect change, who will help tackle insecurity, who would help also fix the economy. Yes, he did his best. It was also quite challenging, but he was also able to achieve a lot. Also, in terms of infrastructure, there were so many road projects constructed across the country under him. In the southeast, they would also remember him for the construction of the second Niger Bridge. They were also a very significant and crucial infrastructure that were built across the country by President Muhammad Buhari's administration. And in the oil industry, they'll remember him for the Petroleum Industry Act that effectively helped, put aside the payments of fuel subsidy, which a lot of people agree that it has become an organized crime. President Muhammad Buhari's administration, through the signing of the Petroleum Industry Act, made away with that subsidy regime, which President Bola Tinubu's administration came on board and then sustained it. Even in the health sector, his achievements are quite clear there. There are so many turnaround of the country's tertiary hospitals across the country, including the primary health care center. He was also the president when Nigeria, when there was the global pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. It was quite interesting to see how he was also able to galvanize resources as the incident commander of the country, galvanize resources and everyone together to just help Nigeria flatten the curve of transmission. It was a very difficult moment for Nigeria. The economy went into recession about 2 times under President Muhammad Buhari's administration, but eventually he was able to pull resources together, put some policies in place that helped the country gradually come out of the doldrums and back on its feet. He was in charge at a very challenging time in Nigeria's history. In Nigeria's history, and he'll be remembered for so many things. And some people would say, well, they have their reservations about his legacies and achievements, but some other people would also be bold enough to give him kudos for the best he could do and he could achieve while he was president. Esther.
All right. Well,
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Muhammadu Buhari ti ṣe tiẹ̀ ó ti lọ o. Kí ni wọ́n fẹ́ máa sọ nípa tirẹ̀? Kí ni wọ́n fẹ́ máa sọ nípa tèmi? Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbìyànjú ká ṣe ká sapá tiwa fún orílẹ̀-èdè wa, orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá, orílẹ̀-èdè olómìnira Yorùbá nation. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Mo kí wa nílé lóko níbikíbi tí a bá wà. Èmi ọmọ ọ̀rẹ́ yín olólùfẹ́ yín àkàlàmàgbò ẹyẹ méjì kì í jàṣà. Ijó Muhammadu Buhari ló gbà mí kò jẹ́ kí tiẹ̀ lè kí ẹ̀yin ènìyàn wa. Àbí ṣé ká kan mi mọ irú èkì tá a fẹ́ kíra wa. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn irú èkì tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ká kíra wa ẹ bá wa máa tẹ̀ sí comment section. Yes, ẹ máa tẹ̀ síbẹ̀. Buhari ti lọ o tó ní kí wọ́n lọ pa Olóyè Igboho mọ́lé. Kò ní pé this is arrest warrant. You are invited to our station by the President of the Republic of Nigeria. Nothing like that. Wọ́n kógun wá lóru ni ó tán lọ fi ká ọmọ Adéyẹmọ wálé. Wọ́n kógun wá togun ni wọ́n kó wá láti lọ ká ọmọ Adéyẹmọ mọ́lé ṣùgbọ́n agbára ju agbára lọ o. Ẹ má jẹ́ kí tàn yín. Agbára ju agbára lọ. Ọlọ́run ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kò padà lẹ́yìn ọmọ Adéyẹmọ. Ẹ̀yin ènìyàn, ohun tá mú wá jù báyìí lọ. Èmi ọmọ ọ̀rẹ́ yín olólùfẹ́ yín náà ni o. Ẹ bá wa tẹ ohun tó bá yẹ sí wọn. Ṣé congratulation ni àbí ilé ló lọ tààràrà? Ẹ bá wa tẹ̀ síbẹ̀. Kò sẹ́ni tí ò ní kú o. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹni tó bá ní ká wá kú, òun ni ó máa relédè wa. Gbogbo wa la jẹ̀bi ikú, gbogbo wa la jẹ gbèsè ikú. Ṣùgbọ́n àwa ò tí ṣetán láti kú. Ọmọ Adéyẹmọ tó bá kú at the age of 150, a máa ró òkú ẹni o. Yes, tí ọmọ Adéyẹmọ bá kú at the age of 150, a ró òkú ẹ̀ nítorí àwọn ayé lá lọ́wọ́ sí ọ̀rọ̀ ikú ọmọ Adéyẹmọ. Ọmọ Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho ṣàbá mi ò ní kú. Àwọn tó bá ní kí ọ kú náà ni ó mọ orílẹ̀-èdè ọ àti gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá àtàtà. Ẹni tó bá ní kẹ́ ẹ kú òun ló máa relédè yín. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ. Wọ́n ní ikú kan ò kí ń pẹ̀tà lójú ìran. Ẹ ní kú. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ. Ẹ ní kú. Ẹnu báyìí lẹ́sẹ̀ fi ń pẹ̀kúrọ̀ ojú ọ̀nà. Ẹni tó bá ní kẹ́ ẹ kú òun náà mọ orílẹ̀-èdè yín. Mo kí gbogbo wa níbikíbi tí a bá wà. Kò jù báyìí náà lọ o. Buhari ti relé o. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tó kù wọ́n tẹ̀ sọ pé àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan náà ṣì wà ní ọ̀hún tí wọ́n ń gbà wòsàn. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe sọ, wọ́n yànnà wọn láwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan ẹ gbọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀ náà. Wọ́n ní àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan nínú wọn wọ́n ṣì wà lókè lọ́hùn tí wọ́n ń gbà wòsàn. Ẹ̀yin náà ó ṣe ń ṣe kẹ́ má padà wálé. Ó lè jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀ máa gbà lọ. Torí ẹ jẹ̀bi ikú. Yes, ẹ ṣẹlẹ̀ ayé dà. Ẹ gbélé ayé dáadáa. Gbogbo yín tẹ́ ń lọ síbẹ̀ tẹ́ lọ ń gbà wòsàn bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa lọ tẹ́ ní padà wálé nìhun. Ẹ ò mọ̀ lọ ẹ ò ní padà wálé. Ibi tẹ́ bá lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lẹ́ẹ̀ máa gbà lọ sọ́dọ̀ bàbá God. Ẹ máa gbàbẹ̀ lọ síbi tẹ́ ti wá ní kékeré lágbára àṣẹlédùà, lágbára àwọn tó sọlẹ̀ Yorùbá dó. Mo kí gbogbo wa ẹ̀mí ọmọ ọ̀rẹ́ náà ni. Wálé bàbá.